Hello, everyone. Welcome to another UK Film Review interview. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by the creators of a new animated comedy short called Jake and Pete's Christmas Special. We have Luke Marley and Taylor Taberner. Very warm welcome to both of you.
Yeah, thank you for
Thanks for
having us.
having us.
Well, before we begin, Luke, could you maybe introduce us a bit to the general conceit of Jake and Pete?
So, Jake and Pete is essentially about two childhood best friends who essentially realize that the spirit of Christmas is in jeopardy, and they really, for the wrong reasons, they want to bring the spirit of Christmas back.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good summary. Um, so I would say like the most obvious inspiration, and I'm sure you guys have been talking about this a lot in other interviews and what have you. But the most obvious inspiration here is South Park. I mean, you make explicit reference to South Park in the film itself, even. And I really like the fact that you guys have also sort of paid homage by, beginning with a handmade style, and it's a Christmas special, which also in many ways reminded me of the Simpsons pilot episode. But Taylor, as co-writer of this project, could you talk a bit about how this specific story of Christmas set fantastical sort of vulgar chaos came about?
So it started with Luke um, um, basically asking if we wanted to make one because he recently made Henry VIII before that, and we um, we decided that we wanted to make a film just like that as well. So it was basically Luke's idea. He was the one that suggested it in the first place. So I was like, yeah, sure. He showed me Henry VIII and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, I want to be a part of that. So
Yeah, fabulous. So
yeah.
I haven't seen this Henry VIII film of Luke's, but out of interest, for the step between Henry VIII, was it just called Henry VIII?
Yeah.
Well, the full name, Henry VIII, the Shagger of History.
What's so if I were to watch Henry VIII, The Shagger of History, and then Jake and Pete's Christmas special, what would you say is the growth creatively between the two? What are the differences, different characteristics of you creatively?
So, yeah, so I think the key thing between the two is Henry VIII, we were still kind of trying that style. We
Mm,
sorry about that. We were basically trying that style. We had yeah, so that was basically the first kind of wait, give me one sec. There we go. Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah, so with Henry VIII, it was the first time we had done stop motion.
mm,
It had become essentially like there were a few technical issues which you could tell watching it through like a flicker and the odd few bits,
yeah.
which was really what I wanted to focus on fixing in Jake and Pete, which I did. But I think writing wise, it's definitely more vulgar. Um, Henry VIII is a lot more vulgar than Jake and Pete.
Right.
I think it's Jake and Pete is a lot more tame in terms of the references and comedy, and we're
Uh-huh.
very abrupt with Henry VIII, but that's because that's how it works, and that's with what the subject matter of the film is.
Okay, right, yes. And so what you're saying is like with the visuals, with the animation, you had practiced it, and then with Jake and Pete, you sort of crystallized your vision
Yeah,
and you were more
basically.
experienced. Yeah,
Yeah, we knew what we were doing. We had upgraded the equipment a bit so we could actually have it without the issues.
yeah. So then to either of you, why is South Park such a big influence on you as storytellers, as comedy writers?
You want to take this one?
Um, so So we got along well whilst watching South Park. South Park was one of the first adult comedies that we actually watched together. So that it brought some memories with that, and South Park was also one of the first adult comedies that I've watched as well. I know the age shouldn't be the age to watch this, but my uncle showed me it when I was about 7.
Right, yeah.
The first episode that I ever watched was the Halloween special when they all turn into zombies.
Hmm. I've not
So,
seen South Park in its entirety, and I have not seen an episode in years and years. But yeah, like you, I probably watched it too young, but I only have bits of memories from different bit. But the inspiration is still, very clear.
Yeah,
You can
it's
see clear parallels.
I
it's
think
also the way they oh sorry it's also the way they structure their storytelling as well. If you some interviews that we've seen, they have a certain structure to their story. They want to have it consistent and not have it just like, and then this happened and then that happened.
Yeah,
This character will do that. Like they do it a certain different way,
yeah,
and that's what we um, try to inspire by.
yeah. I mean, I think I noticed completely that that this script is actually structurally quite tight, and I like its turns and this is clearly a script that's been like thought through in terms of like it's 20 minutes long. It's divided into different, intentions and set pieces, you could even say, even though it's, just an animated movie. But yeah, I can see that. But so this goes again to either of you. What is your collaborative writing process like? How long have you been working together, and what characteristics would you say each of you respectively bring to the script?
so. We kind of started working on comedy as a whole from doing the O4 Clan, which is a comedy skit channel that we have together.
Mm-hmm.
Which, because obviously we've always lived quite a distance apart, so we didn't be able to make loads of videos and put them out. So I think when it comes to like this one in particular, we were talking over ideas, literally just playing Call of Duty.
Right.
And we would be there playing Call of Duty, not even writing anything down. We would just be playing it, and then maybe take down the odd note, and then we would then when I'd have a free moment, I would just go over and put it into the script,
Mm-hmm.
and we would kind of work on it that way. So we would have general conversation, and out of that, bits kind of come out and it forms into the script.
Fun.
I
You can
think
sort of tell that. Oh yeah, go on.
sorry, oh sorry. I think that's also what brings my character Pete out because us playing Call of Duty and making the script. My character Pete is also a sort of nerd that just wants to focus on gaming and not really bother trying to like. He's not really bothered as much
Yeah.
until he finds out that it will affect his gaming. Then he decides to care.
Yeah, yeah. I like that idea, and I feel
I
like you
definitely
can.
think personality wise, Pete is
Yeah.
very similar to Taylor.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And I think you can tell that this is made by people who play Call of Duty. I mean, that's
Hmm.
it's a recurring motif in the film. And oh yeah, so Luke, you have sole directing credit on the film.
Yeah.
Um, I was wondering, while you're playing Call of Duty with Taylor and you're, thinking about story, how soon within that writing process are you thinking through the film in visual terms?
So not much really. I think every now and again, if I've got like a small idea for a scene, sometimes in my head it kind of plays out and I know the shot that I want. Like one of the major shots that I always knew I wanted was the shot of the kids and Santa in the sleigh, and like the shot where you kind of see Pete up front, and then you've got Beth behind him, and then you've got a bit of the snowman. That
Mm,
was a shot I always knew visually I wanted
cool.
because there were a few shots that we came up with that didn't make it in just because couldn't find a point for it. Like there
Yeah.
was a perspective like that shot, but for Jake's, like pointed at Jake.
Yeah.
But that shot just didn't make it in.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So it was a gradual process then, but when
Yeah,
it
I
came
think
to, yeah.
yeah, a lot of it, and also some of it on the spot would be like whether or not like the shot, it would just be mixing it up and changing it and just seeing how it works. But
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's why I like with stop motion. You can play around it a little bit.
Yeah. And I guess you have the time to. It's not a
Mm,
case of shooting on the day, whatever you get sort of thing.
yeah.
So you recorded the voice presumably you recorded the voiceover all first and then got to work on the animation.
Yes.
Well, yes and no. So we started the actual. So there's two steps of our animation process. We have the practical animation, and then we have the digital editing side.
Mm.
So the way we kind of handle it is we do all the practical stuff for the most part, where we're actually at the table doing the click, 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 and doing all of that side of it. But the way we animate is we kind of have we like we'll do a shot, and that's why I love this style because unlike a lot of stuff, you have to like go along the script and animate as the script goes, and you have to follow it, and that means it has to be quite airtight. With
Yeah.
what we do, we'll get a shot, we'll take 10 photos of that shot, one photo for every different mouth they use. And
Yeah.
then in the editing process, we reuse the frames.
Yeah.
So like if they're using like the air mouth, for example, we will use that frame like that mouth or that whole frame every time that is used during that little piece of dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it cuts animation down. We've probably saved days on animation
Yeah.
because of that method. So doing that, so we'll do that practical side, do the voices, and then we can actually start syncing the dialogue up with the mouths.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think you've done a great job with that because, I really love how this film looks. And I'm sure you will have heard this a lot, but it is very, refreshing in an age where sort of AI generated animation is becoming sort of something to battle with.
Yeah.
To see something so sort of artisanal and textural and personal. And, there's just so much charm here visually. And I also think it really suits the overall like tone of the short as well. um you know could you talk me through a bit more sort of how you came about crafting this style? You said it was something you'd already used for Henry VIII.
Yeah.
Was it a case of you're taking inspiration from South Park, you want it to have that cutout look feel, um and also, you said you had some technical challenges on Henry VIII. What sort of technical challenges were they when you were trying to form this visual style?
Well, it was more the technical challenges were more like having the table accidentally bump or and having that be on screen or like every time you take a photo, the lighting would be slightly different because we use a DSLR.
Yeah.
So it every frame it lets in different amounts of lights. There'll be so every frame you take will have be slightly lighter or slightly
Oh,
darker.
damn.
So
Yeah.
but you don't notice that as you're doing it. So when it's all edited, you see the flicker as the movements go on.
Yeah.
So that
Right.
it was more that.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. So with this one, you're doing more manual settings. You had a
Yeah.
steadier look, right?
Yeah.
Got you. Um, so, Taylor, how much of this animation process did you observe, and did you have any input or like preconceptions as to how this film was going to look? And was there anything that maybe surprised you regarding the direction Luke took with the animation?
I was helping with the character design.
Oh,
So Luke sent me character models. We have someone that designs the characters, and they give us concept of the characters, and we'll say yes or no to how that character looks. Majority of the time, they're just they come out perfect straight away, but some of
Yeah.
the times we do have to say like, just just make a few slight changes to this character model, and then I think we'll be fine. So there was a couple of issues with like how big the town was at for
Oh,
the
right.
first two goes, so
Yeah.
that was a bit stressful. Um, but yeah, so I we agree on the character models, the layout, and the design of the town. That's basically like my how my take was. And what I was surprised about with Luke is he got it done. He got the editing done a little earlier than he thought. Like
Oh, right.
it was meant to be a little longer, but he managed to. He did a few all-nighters, so he
Yeah.
managed to get the editing process done a lot faster, which I was quite happy about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's always good news. That's always
Yeah,
very
like
good
we
news.
got the editing done in 4 days.
Wow.
So we were really thrilled with that. And then it took a couple of days extra to get the musical done. But yeah,
But how long did the animation process overall take?
that part was stressful. So we started, so we
That
got
did
the
take a
initial
while.
characters. So we got the initial character designs for Jake and Pete
Hmm.
back in December of 23.
Hmm.
And then we had basically started animation very early on. I did the first pieces of dialogue early on, which none of that was ended up used.
Yeah.
And then we did animation basically throughout the entire year, and it kept getting delayed because of different life events and different like practical issues or different things kept happening.
Yeah.
So it kept getting pushed with production. Um, so we basically finished that side of it in December.
Hmm.
So we have basically done that in December, and yeah.
Cool. I guess, animation takes a long time. Even if it's just 20 minutes, I mean, do you have ambitions for the future for making longer length things, or are you going to go shorter? What's your thinking?
So Jake and P initially, I think it was going to be 15 minutes. That was
Yeah.
the aim.
Yeah.
But when it came to the script, and we found we didn't really have anything we could cut. So it basically just got 20 minutes, and then we looked at it and went, well, you can't cut anything. And you know
Oh,
what, 20 minutes is pretty good length for a Christmas special anyway.
yeah.
So let's just keep it. And it just, yeah. And honestly, I'm proud we haven't cut
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So as for if we want to, I think that would be cool to do, like make a film,
Yeah.
something, but I am not doing stop motion for a film.
No.
Maybe if we find a way to make it digitally, then
Yeah. No, that
yeah,
makes
maybe.
sense. But then I guess you lose some of that. What makes this thing have so much personality to it is the way is that handmade feel.
Yeah. Or
Or
even if there's just a way to make it quicker,
yeah, oh
because
no, yeah, of
we
course.
have like if we've got a team of people potentially doing it at the same time, then maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely. And so Taylor and then Luke, I thought I'd ask, how do you guys find voice acting? I imagine it's a lot of fun.
This was my first time voice acting, and I we
Wow.
had a good time. We, to be honest, we just kept laughing all the time when we were doing our dialogues. Like we
Yeah.
had a really good time. Both of us were in the same booth together whilst we did it, so it was a good time. Like I had a lot of fun. It does make your voice very dry.
Does it? Yeah.
It does make it very dry. Your throat very dry. So a lot of water.
A lot of water, yeah. And then there's some
But
voice modulation, right? To make
yeah, we made our voices more high pitched to like uh, make it sound like we were kids.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but literally it's like The thing is, for most people, like I think South Park do the same which they do three semitones. Right, so you pitch it up three semitones. We only did one, so
Oh,
I feel
really?
like that says something about our voices.
Yeah.
But we pitched it up one semitone for that slight difference,
Yeah.
and it worked.
Yeah.
Two semitones was way too
Yeah.
much.
So you were
So
already speaking in quite a high pitched way then for your character.
yeah, so I think we were naturally kind of doing it as well at the same time.
Yeah.
But for the most part, for Jake and Pete as well, we like the fact that we kind of just did our own voices. We
Yeah.
didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
We kind of just did our voices, pitched it up, but we basically got like for those characters specifically, we voiced them together at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, those are the two characters where you don't voice separately because that's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on the chemistry between Jake and Pete.
Very
So
true.
us recording that together at the same time, linear,
Yeah.
that makes it significantly easier to do.
I think that's a really clever way to approach it. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You need that feeling that you're bouncing off each other. Otherwise, yeah, it'll sound stilted, but it gives it some charm. Yeah.
Mm.
So another very significant aspect we haven't touched on yet is the film's sense of humor. This is a through and through comedy containing lots of satire. To be completely honest, some of the humor didn't work for me, didn't land for me. But then again, I also felt that that's sort of par for the course when it comes to this style of like provocative humor, and to me, sometimes it didn't matter so much, what I failed to find funny because I was just so delighted with the textural sort of stimulation of every handmade frame. But you frequently use caricatures of celebrities in the film, which was kind of hit or miss for me. For example, I mean, it's a weirdly anti-Rachel Zegler movie, which I found to be slightly misplaced slash too populist for its own good. But then immediately after that is a wonderful fake Keanu Reeves making an appearance coming down from heaven, and I thought that was wonderful and hilarious, and and also the character design. I don't know how many times it took you to get it so on point, but you could immediately tell who that was, and that's quite an
That's the
achievement.
thing. Keanu Reeves was first time round.
Was it really?
Yeah, first time round. He sent the character design, and we
Yeah.
just went, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's complete, it's perfect, really. But so this sort of quote unquote like topical style of comedy is of course what made South Park so successful for so long. Please, could either one of you talk about the kind of target audience you're aiming for with this brand of humor, and also how you approached sort of constructing like topical jokes?
You can go with that one, Luke.
I mean, I think when we were writing it, we kind of like if it made us laugh, we kind of put it in, and if we found it funny, we would kind of just put it in. So I think it's kind of, I think also looking at more, it's very central in terms of it's very broad in terms of the audience.
Yeah.
So it's very much more people who have kind of similar sense of humor as we do. We found as well is one of the things, stuff like South Park and not just South Park, basically every animated adult comedy ever made. It's all in America. It's all using American themes, American topics, all of that. And those are obviously the small parts of those shows that obviously don't regulate in the UK.
Yeah.
So I think making it very British and having it clearly set in Britain and using topics here was generally something very like important to it as well.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's something that people have picked up on, particularly our critic who, wrote the review for this film a while ago, is that its Britishness gives it a unique style of comedy because I mentioned this a little while ago, but I'm actually more of an American comedy person. But I like the fact that this film basically combines an American style of comedy, what South Park is at its core, with your British sensibility, and
The
it
funny
worked.
thing is, that is what South Park did for Britain, essentially.
Yeah.
So, like, because South Park started with kind of, it was inspired by heavily by British comedy and Monty Python and all of
Hmm.
those kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So we've kind of gone the other way and inspired by that using our culture and having
Oh,
that.
intriguing. Right. I didn't know that. Well, fabulous. So before we wrap up, I'll ask both of you, and I'll start with Luke. What has been your favorite memory slash experience making this?
I probably the actual like voice acting day
Yeah,
because like I mean because we did
it
all
was
of
just
our
one day.
yeah no all of our voice acting was one day.
Really? Right.
The only bit that wasn't done that day was one line by Jake after the whole Santa drug joke where he
Hmm.
literally says, well, that's problematic. That's the only thing
Yeah.
that on mine and Taylor's side of it was done out of the studio and on a separate day because
Hmm.
that was just going to be a shot just for the trailer, but then we decided to keep it in.
Hmm.
But so for me, it would probably be that day because it's the probably the least stressful day. It like I've done voice acting gigs before,
Yeah.
but that was probably the best voice acting gig I think I've done because doing it with Taylor and us
Hmm.
just kind of having fun with it. It makes it a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So and then bonus that we had a Beatty Boys when we finished. So
Would it be
yeah,
the same for you, Taylor?
Absolutely. I absolutely loved the voice acting section. Like that was so fun. It was a really good time. Really enjoyed it. Had a good laugh. And I would also say the release day as well. Like it was really good to see my family how they reacted to the film.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, like some of my dad's side as well, like that I haven't seen in a while. They've also said like how good the film was. They bought it as well. Like
Oh, that's
it was it
lovely.
was it was good. It was good.
There you go. Movies bringing people together. That's
yeah.
good to hear.
I mean, my
Uh,
family didn't see it until probably I think Taylor showed his family it before the release, and I didn't actually show most of my family until it came out. So
yeah.
yeah, so my family watched after it came out, but yeah,
Yeah. Good reception.
Yeah.
yeah, so far pretty good.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah, but social media is an
on our
absolute nightmare.
on our social medias, we have been getting quite a bit of people that just leave negative comments for the sake of negative comments.
Right.
Some are fairly criticism, which is
Hmm?
fair enough, and we take them in. Like there was for an example, there was a joke say there was a comment on underneath one of our videos saying this joke was good until it fell a little bit flat for me, and I was like, that is fair criticism, and we will take that on board. Um,
Mhm.
so we do get a mixture of actual good criticism, and just get a. We also get people that don't even want to give it a chance. They're saying like, "Oh, this is a South Park ripoff," but we also get people just like, oh, this just looks bad. I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to hate for the sake of hating because we have got a few of the same people
Oh, really?
in all of our
Yeah,
videos just commenting the
Well,
same stuff. Well, you
you know,
can't please everyone. It is the internet. You can't please
yeah,
exactly. It
everyone.
is the internet, absolutely. Yeah. And I think the South Park parallels and the visuals are the best the best aspect of it and the most charming aspect of it. I think the things that don't work about it are more a more like specific joke by joke level of
Mm.
will this land with an audience?
yeah,
Will this not
and
land with an audience?
yeah. And I mean, as well with comedy, you get that. Like, you're
Mhm.
going to have jokes that fall flat. You're going
Mm.
to have jokes that work for some people but don't work for others. That's comedy, and that's kind of how it works. You'll have some people who kind of watch the whole thing and they're like, yeah, no, not for me.
Yeah,
None of the jokes work. I don't find
yeah.
any of it funny. I just don't get
Mm.
it.
Yeah. And you know what?
And
I've never been a South Park fan at all, but I enjoyed watching this movie, so I think you've maybe hit on a slight niche, which is people who maybe watched like 10 episodes of South Park when they were 15, sort of forgot about it, but are now charmed by something that slightly reminds them of South Park in a way, but it's a slightly different style of comedy. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, that's about it, I would say. But thank you very much, both of you, for being here. I really enjoyed watching this and talking about this film with you. Should we be expecting, more Jake and Pete adventures on the horizon?
Hopefully,
possibly,
hopefully,
possibly,
Possibly.
yeah.
most
I think
possibly, yeah.
that's
I
an
mean,
that's an optimistic answer, I would say.
yeah. Because
Um,
I mean, at the end of the day, we love making this one.
yeah,
We love playing the characters Jake and P, and yeah, we'd love to do more. So we'll just see if it happens.
great to hear. Well, this has been fab. Thank you very much for joining me, you two.
All right, thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Thanks for having us.